Welcome back to Soil Stories, where we don't just grow plants, we grow understanding. If you've been gardening for any length of time, you've probably been told the same advice over and over. Add manure, add more manure. You can't go wrong with manure. I believed it too, for years. But here's the hard truth most gardeners never hear. Manure is often the reason your soil gets tired, your plants stall, and your harvest never reaches its true potential. Today I want to share a January soil trick that completely changed the way I garden. It's simple, fast, and incredibly effective when done at the right time. I've seen beds double and even triple their productivity, not by adding more inputs but by working with the soil instead of overwhelming it. Let's talk honestly, gardener to gardener. Why manure isn't the miracle we think it is. Manure isn't bad by definition, but it's deeply misunderstood. Most gardeners apply it as a quick fix, especially at the start of the year, hoping it will feed the soil. The problem is that raw or poorly composted manure often does the opposite. It floods the soil with nitrogen when plants don't yet need it, disrupts microbial balance, and can compact soil over time. In January, when soil is cool and biological activity is just waking up, manure breaks down slowly and unevenly. Instead of creating a living, breathing soil, it can cause nutrient lockup. Your plants look green at first, then suddenly stall. Roots stay shallow, flowers drop, harvests disappoint. Healthy soil isn't about adding more, it's about activating what's already there. January is not the time to force growth, it's the time to prepare the soil engine that will power your garden for the rest of the year. Underground, something important is happening. Soil microbes are beginning to wake up. Fungi are stretching through the soil. Earthworms are moving again. This is the moment when small, smart actions have massive ripple effects. Instead of dumping manure, the goal in January is to stimulate soil life gently, improve structure, and unlock nutrients that already exist in the ground. When you do this correctly, plants don't struggle to feed. They explode with growth when the warmth arrives. That's where this soil trick comes in. Here's the shift that changes everything. In January, you want to stop feeding plants and start feeding soil biology. The fastest way to do this is by focusing on carbon-rich organic matter, combined with moisture and, a bit of time. Carbon is really the true foundation of fertile soil. It feeds microbes, improves soil structure, increases water retention, and stabilizes nutrients. When microbes are well fed with carbon, they make nutrients available to plants exactly when plants need them, not all at once like manure does. This isn't about complicated formulas or expensive products, it's about layering the right materials and just letting nature do the work. When you add carbon-rich materials to soil in January, microbes begin breaking them down slowly. Fungi establish networks that transport nutrients directly to plant roots. Bacteria multiply and release enzymes that unlock phosphorus, potassium, and trace minerals already present in your soil. The soil becomes crumbly, airy, and alive. Roots grow deeper and stronger. Plants access nutrients steadily instead of being shocked by excess nitrogen. This is honestly why harvests increase dramatically, not because you added more nutrients, but because you made nutrients available. Manure, it feeds plants temporarily. But carbon? Well, carbon actually feeds the entire soil system. So, what should you use instead of manure? Think in terms of gentle, natural inputs that really mimic forest floors and wild ecosystems. Dry leaves, shredded cardboard, straw, old hay, crop residues, and well-aged compost all work beautifully. The key here is balance and timing. In January, you lightly loosen the soil surface, never deep digging, and lay down a thin layer of compost to introduce beneficial microbes. On top of that, you add your carbon material. This creates a protective blanket that keeps moisture in, buffers temperature, and feeds soil life gradually. As the weeks pass, this layer begins to integrate into the soil naturally. By the time planting season arrives, your soil is soft, dark, and just bursting with life. Why does this method triple your harvest? Well, tripling your harvest isn't magic, it's biology. Plants that are grown in biologically active soil develop much stronger root systems. And strong roots absorb more water and nutrients. Better nutrition means more flowers, more fruit set, and even longer production periods. So instead of getting leafy plants with just a few yields, you get balanced growth. Tomatoes, for example, flower heavily and actually hold their fruit. Greens will regrow faster after cutting. Root crops grow deeper and come out more uniform. Even pests become less of a problem, because healthy plants are just better at defending themselves. This method also prevents one of the biggest silent harvest killers, nutrient leaching. You see, manure releases nutrients quickly, and then rain can just wash much of it away. But carbon-based soil holds nutrients like a sponge, keeping them right where roots can find them. Beginners thrive, and experts level up. If you're new to gardening, this approach really removes a lot of confusion. You don't need to calculate fertilizer ratios or worry about burning your plants. You just build soil gently and let it guide the growth. For experienced gardeners, this method refines everything you already know. It corrects compacted beds, restores tired soil, and actually reduces your dependency on constant inputs. Over time, you'll notice you need to add less and harvest more. That's the sign of a healthy system. This isn't a trend or some quick hack. It's how soil has worked for thousands of years. Common mistakes to avoid. Well, one mistake is adding thick, wet layers that block air. Soil life really needs oxygen, you know, so keep those layers light and breathable. Another mistake is impatience. This trick works fast, but not overnight. The real payoff comes as the season unfolds. Trust me. Also, don't mix this with heavy manure applications. If manure is already in your soil, let the microbes stabilize it before adding more nitrogen. Honestly, balance is everything. What I love most about this January soil trick is that it compounds over time. Each season really builds on the last. The soil becomes richer, darker, and a whole lot easier to work. You'll notice watering becomes less frequent, and your plants become more resilient. You stop fighting nature, and, instead, start partnering with it. And that's what Soil Stories is all about. Learning to listen to the soil and respond wisely. If you remember just one thing, let it be this. January isn't for forcing growth, it's for setting the stage. Stop using manure as a shortcut and start building living soil. Feed the microbes, protect the structure, and let the soil do what it does best. If this story helped you see your garden a little differently, make sure to subscribe to Soil Stories for more honest, practical gardening wisdom. Share this with a fellow gardener who's still relying on manure alone. Together, we can grow smarter, healthier, and more abundant gardens. Starting from the soil up.